Welcome to episode 24 of the Secret Cow Level podcast. Once again, my name is Mo. With me, I have Corey.
Yeah.
And I've got Derek.
Howdy, folks.
Who is still a question mark box.
Yup.
He's still all the way over there.
He's still over the way over there. So what have you guys been up to recently?
Well, I recently got a game off of Steam called Ghost 1.0. It's a Metroidvania style game, so it's perfectly exactly what I want.
Right.
But it was interesting. The only bad part about the game I really thought could use help was the story. The cinematics and the writing were just pretty bleh. But as far as the mechanics go and the actual feel of the game, it felt really good. It's on the shorter side, but it's also a cheaper game, so I kind of expected that. But the really cool thing about it is they have a classic mode, which is just play through the game, do whatever. But then they also have a roguelike mode, where instead of having bosses or different rooms drop a specific item for you, it's all random. So you get to have one playthrough where you get all of these weapons in this order, and then on a different playthrough it could be entirely different weapons and different things. The only thing is, on the roguelike mode, if you die, you drop all of your weapons and upgrades, and you can only pick up one or two if you come back to your dead body. Okay. So there's a lot more risk, but the reward pays off a lot more. Okay. And it's given me a lot of replay value for the game, because I went through on hard mode, was 8 to 10 hours, it wasn't that bad. And then I tried doing the roguelike mode, and I was like, oh, this is the main part of the game.
Right.
The story mode, the classic mode, yeah, that was fun, but this is clearly, the selling point of the game. Way more fun. So if that's your kind of style of game, I'd check that out. Really cool. I've been getting a little bit farther in the Gungeon. I posted on Twitter today that it only took me 48 deaths, but I was able to kill the past. Woo! I killed the past with one character. Now I gotta do it with 3 other characters, and then unlock the other characters and do it with those characters. So still got a long ways to go, but I actually made progress. So
Yay!
I feel good.
Nice.
And then I wanted to follow up to the Chronicles RuneScape game.
Oh yeah.
So after 2 weeks of playing with it, still really enjoyable game. I like spending a little bit of time on it. The only problem I have now, after the honeymoon phase wore off of really liking it, is the strategy kind of sucks. From where you set down 4 cards per turn, you just go, I want to do this, 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 and that. You may have things that deal effects to them, and they'll do stuff to you.
Right.
But it's really, you can't get the counterplay that you want, because what order things come in drastically change what happens. So I may have a weapon that has 6 attack and 2 durability, and I could use that to do a whole lot of damage. If you hit someone, you swing at all, you lose a durability. So if I set up my turn to go, I'm going to take this weapon, it's a 6-2, 6 attack, 2 durability, and then the next 3 things are things to buff it up, give it 3 more durability, 2 more attack, and then fight a huge creature with it so I can get a whole bunch of stuff from it. Well, I may grab it on the first turn, and then the next person, or the person's next turn goes, and they do an attack that loses me 2 durability. So now my weapon's destroyed because it lost all of its durability.
Right.
And then I move on and, oh, look, I'm fucked because now my weapon doesn't get any durability, so I waste that money. And, oh, it can't get attacked, so I waste that too. And now I'm facing a monster I don't have a weapon for, and it beats the shit out of me and I die. You're that's great for the other person, but I have no counterplay to what they did.
Right.
And then on the other end of that, they could have put down all right, I'm going to bash you and take away your durability. The turn starts out, and maybe I just fight a low-level creature, and they wasted their durability attack on me.
Yeah.
But you didn't have a weapon.
So it ends up being a huge roll of the dice, because you're okay, we're going into chapter 3. They haven't spent their money, they've got a lot of it. So they might buy something on the first turn and then fight a monster on the second turn. So my first play of the turn, I'm going to try to increase the damage and health of their next monster, and then maybe that'll fuck them up. And then the turn goes, and you either ruin their day, do absolutely nothing, or you do something and it doesn't really matter. And it just seems like a huge dice roll.
Yeah.
So while I still have fun with it, and there's still some strategy to be had, it kind of sucks because you really can't just go, you do this, I do this, like in any other card game. You basically just have to go, I'm going to do these things, and I hope it doesn't fuck up, or I'm going to do these things, and I hope it fucks you up. And that's all you got to hope for.
Yeah.
I actually did download it and try it out for a little bit. I only had 9 or 10 hours on it, so I didn't get that far into it. But yeah, the PvP aspect of it, air quotes, like playing things that interact with your opponent while you're playing along the chapters is a lot of guessing. You can kind of strategize to be more accurate with your guesses. Like, okay, I know that they're playing a deck that tries to build up, weapons and then use them to beat enemies. So I'm going to try and screw with their weapon stuff, if I happen to have those cards. Or, and like you said, they're going to buy first, and then it is still a lot of guessing. So yeah, I definitely get that. For me, the reason I didn't go too much further into it is because it is pretty much the same as Hearthstone, and I think most other free-to-play collectible card games, in that you can either play casually and pay money for your cards, or you can play hardcore and free. You can't play casually and free because you're not gonna have any cards.
Yeah.
You have to either grind or shell out cash. You can't do neither. Pretty much.
Well, yeah.
I'm not gonna put in 10 hours a week in it. So.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say in response to that is they've got a pretty nice crafting system where you get these shards or crystal things, and if there's a card that you want, you can spend the crystals on it instead of the in-game currency stuff. They don't really go over that in a tutorial or anything, so I'm not sure if you saw it at all. But you have to go into your collection and then specifically click a tab that's show me craftable items. And then you can click that, and if you have the crafting stuff, you can actually do it. So there's some ways around it. And the other thing I would say to that is, since the game's so luck dependent, I've been going on ranked, and I'm in the Silver League or something, and I primarily just use the starter decks. The starter decks aren't that bad, and I think we lost Derek.
Yeah, we lost Derek.
Anyway, well,
oh.
You get the starter decks, you could do pretty well if you have a basic understanding of the strategy. Yeah, the other player will probably have some super awesome cards that do whack out stuff, but if you have a luck factor of, well, I'm going to deal you 4 damage and get rid of that armor. Oh, your next card was spend 2 armor and win the game? Oh, it's just... Doesn't that suck?
Right.
And that's just how it goes.
Alright. Hold on. Let me try to get Derek back in the call. There we go. Because when he dropped out of the call, the Skype windows got all jumbled up. So it was your face on both...
You,
Well, on the capture, I'm in the center, and it was your face both to the left and to the right of me, except it was super zoomed in. Are you back with us, Derek?
Do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You two having all these technical difficulties. I'm just sitting here in a 120-degree room. That's my only problem.
I'm so glad I'm not in Arizona anymore. When I heard it was 120, I was like, I left at a good time. Yeah.
You don't like world record, or not world record, but record.
Record. Yeah. No.
Oh. Your loss. We're having so much fun.
I know. I have not played a lot of games because my work schedule has been ridiculous recently. Sorry, I'm breaking up the show notes. We got a new client, and that's pretty much doubled our workload. So I've been doing close to 9-10 hour days. So I've just been really busy. Um, Me and Eric have been watching Silver Spoon recently. It's an anime on Netflix.
Mhm.
And it's pretty good. We stop. um, it's about a guy or a high school boy who goes to an agricultural high school, and it's kind of like a culture shock, kind of fish out of water anime, but it's really adorable. It's super cute. He befriends a pig, but is distraught that he's going to eventually have to eat the pig.
Aww.
Yeah, it's just cute things like that, and it's kind of a mystery because he's not outright in saying why he's there, because everyone's like, oh, I grew up on a farm and I'm learning how to do this for my farm, or I came from a dairy farm and I want to learn how to manufacture dairy better and blah 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 blah, whatever farming things do in high school. That's what they do, and he's the only one that's from the city who has no farming agricultural background. So everyone's like, why are you here? And it's like, I don't want to talk about it. So then that's kind of like the underlying tone of the anime. It's actually really good. We got up to like episode 4 or 5, but I would definitely recommend it. It's on Netflix.
It's called
Silver Spoon.
Silver Spoon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll go into a rant next time on the Voyager Year of Hell 2-part episode, because I watched that recently, and that is some dumb bullshit. Like, when I first watched it, I initially thought, oh, this is my favorite episode of Voyager, and I don't like Voyager, so that's not really saying much about this episode. I rewatched it, and I was like, this is stupid. Why did I like this? Why does anybody like this series? It's dumb. But there's a lot we gotta talk about, so I'll save that for, like, another day, because... Ooh.
I'll save my telling you how you're wrong. At least about Voyager. I don't know. Your hell was a little weird, but...
I don't even want to get started, because I will. That train will not stop until it hits the bottom and explodes in fiery passion. What have you been up to, Robo Derek?
Gaming wise, not a whole hell of a lot. Still playing a little bit of Terra off and on. Surprisingly playable on my absolute shit internet out here. Do have some issues every once in a while, but the game must have some solid like packet management or something, because this is terrible internet, like really super bad. And I can actually go play dungeons and stuff, and usually in like a few hours of gameplay, I'll disconnect once or twice. So that's pretty great. Doing that every once in a while. Playing some app games. Not a whole hell of a lot. I won't hold us up. We've probably got plenty of E3 to talk about. So yeah, I'm a bit boring lately.
Yeah. So if you've been living under a rock, E3 was last week.
For us, yeah.
Yeah.
In recording time.
Oh yeah. There were some interesting things that went on, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to go down what we liked, what we didn't like, and some things that we're curious about. Like, I need some more information before I make a decision on yay or nay. Does anyone want to throw something out?
I'll start.
Okay.
Go for it.
I picked like 3 things that I liked, at least seeing. First of all, release dates on a couple of games. Like, we got The Last Guardian finally has a release date.
Finally, after like 10 years.
It's supposed to come out on October 25th this year.
Yeah.
So, like, it went into limbo for a while. Then we got teased with it when it came back sometime last year, and now we finally get to look forward to a specific date for it. So, coming from someone who liked the other games by this developer, I'm pretty hyped about it. I want to see that.
The same people that did Ico and Shadow of the Colossus? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Look forward to that. And also, Horizon Zero Dawn got a release date. And it's going to come out on February 28th. And my roommate's got a PS4, so I will most likely get to play the fuck out of that.
Yeah, that is on my top list as well. It looks super beautiful. I like the world that they're in. I'm not quite sold on the voice acting though. It's a little like that was the best line you could deliver, and you took that one. Like there's one when he's like, "Watch out, the enemy's up ahead," and I'm like, "Oh God." Are we in the PS2 era? Okay.
Another thing that I'm looking forward to is the new South Park game, Fractured But Whole.
Yes.
That, like, I played the Stick of Truth, and usually I'm not into turn-based RPGs. I just can't get behind them because even if they have an amazing story or a well-crafted world, I just get bored with it after a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I did get interested in, like, Paper Mario because when you're doing the combat, there's still, like, timing presses and little things like that to keep you engaged. Yeah. When Stick of Truth came out, I was like, cash in, turn-based RPG. I could see this being like the easiest thing to program. But with the art aesthetic, the brilliant writing that you would expect them to bring, and the game actually having pretty cool mechanics, it turned out well. And then with the Fractured But Whole, they were like, look, we already know we could do the formula with the writing and the aesthetic. That's easy. We're just going to make sure we improve our game mechanics and make the game more fun. And from what I understand, they're going to go with a more minimalist UI, so it actually looks like scenes from the show instead of it being cluttered with like interface options. And also, it's going to be more actually action-oriented, I guess. It's still a turn-based RPG, but I'm getting the feeling it might be more like tactics where you choose positions, but they haven't really gone into exactly how they want to make it better.
Yeah, I caught the Ubisoft. They're publishing it, right? I think they are.
Mm-hmm.
I caught
I
caught their conference, and it's more tactics based. Your moves can push or pull enemies. They now have area effect and things like that. So they're definitely leaning toward that tactics kind of style of gameplay.
Okay, that's just if it's better than Stick of Truth, I'm on board. Yeah. I was already down with that game. I loved what they did with it. And then they're going to bring this one and make it awesome. Yeah. And it's going to be about superheroes and going to involve a lot of the new cast and stuff that they brought in for the last season. And...
Right. I absolutely love the way they told that story about the superheroes and why they're splitting. I thought that was ingenious. If you haven't seen the trailer already, go download it and watch. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the writing for how they swing from fantasy to superhero is fantastic. Also, I never played the Stick of Truth because I was like, South Park, not really my thing. But if you've never played it and you pre-order the Fractured But Whole, you get Stick of Truth for free. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to end up doing that because a lot of people say Stick of Truth is good, and Fractured But Whole looks really good, so you can't really lose if you pre-order it. And normally I'm against pre-ordering, but this is a pretty good deal for pre-ordering.
Yeah. The last thing I'm hyped about, not that it's the only three things I'm hyped about, because I'm trying to like save super popular stuff for discussion.
Right.
But Spider-Man, and that sounds kind of iffy. Like, why would you be super excited about Spider-Man? What's so cool about Spider-Man? We've already had Spider-Man games before. Yeah, but were they made by Insomniac?
Right.
Yeah. Insomniac's making the next Spider-Man game.
Yeah, that's what caught my attention.
Like, I want to see what they do with it. I can imagine what they'll do with it. It'll probably be this amazing open world. Spider-Man has all these cool different moves and stuff because they're amazing at doing that. But I just want to see. I want to know what they do with it. I want them to give it to me now. Yeah. I'm hyped about it. Just putting those two things together. Insomniac plus... Well, okay. Honestly, any really idea plus Insomniac would mix well. But Spider-Man specifically, because it's like proof of concept was the Spider-Man 2 game. You can make an amazing Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
Just do that with Insomniac. Boom. Magic.
Yeah.
Take my money.
And Insomniac makes great games. Like the Ratchet & Clank series is like the best. And even out of that, there's like one bad game, but even then, that's still a good game, just not a good Ratchet & Clank game. So I'm really, really want to see what they do with not a new IP, but a new idea in general.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you go next, Derek? What are your top three?
Sure. Let's see. Things I'm hyped about. Let's see. Should I just dive into like my top three, or should we stick with the fringe ones where we move into the big titles?
We could touch on the big ones, and then we'll probably just swing back and talk more about them.
Sure. Three that like narrow it down to the three things that really caught my eye. Honestly, kind of weirdly, but kind of not weirdly. Star Trek Bridge Crew. I'm all about that. God, I'm so hyped. Like, I now suddenly care about VR pretty much just because of that. Like,
I put that down in my curious section because I'm interested in it for sure. I want to like get behind it and actually try it though, because I feel like it could end up being boring. But if with like the right group of people, I could see that being a blast for days.
Oh, I think it'd be amazing. Like, I love me some co-op, and we played. What was the game we played, Mo?
Artemis Space Bridge Simulator.
Artemis Space Bridge Simulator, which is honestly a little bit clunky and janky, but still a crap ton of fun.
Yeah, that when this got announced, my first thought was R.I.P. Artemis. Like, oh yeah,
like the thing Artemis was trying to be.
Yeah,
and like the VR makes sense in it because like it's not just a gimmick. Like, it is kind of thrown in, but it just feels so right because you can. Part of the thing about it, we were all playing Artemis Space Simulator in the same room with a whole bunch of like tablets. We're all sitting next to each other. We put up like the couch and the chairs and shit, and had our little bridge going, and we could yell at each other and smack people for not raising the goddamn shield when they're supposed to and shit like that.
Now, when their shields are down, ask for their surrender. Stop firing.
KBO2.
I'd like to show an.
Beam weapons are on auto. They're not going to stop firing.
Then take them off auto.
Captain, these guys only have 40 total shields.
Right.
It's 2 shots, their shields are down, the 3rd shot destroys.
So take their shields down, then stop firing, then ask for their surrender.
Alright, KBO1 requesting.
Are we going forward?
Oh, yes.
Why?
Because they're no threat.
They've declined
and
to
we're
surrender.
Still outside of their range.
Really?
Yes.
Alright.
What?
Shields up!
Bring shields up, please.
Why did you take them down?
I don't have control over that.
I'm looking at Trip. Why did you take the shields down?
I didn't mean to.
I'm sorry.
It didn't even do anything to us. Like, literally didn't do anything.
There's a hole in the ship! What do you think the red dot means?
Or shooting the goddamn space station.
They're on my screen.
Well,
they're right there on visual.
What's your frequency?
E.
Oh, sorry, that was my fault.
E.
Did you take shields off? I did. You know, you need to not touch shields.
Shields are up.
Shields are up now. You can repair them, but don't fucking turn them on. Shut the fuck up.
Their forward shields are down.
Do you want power to your shit? I can just turn them all off right now. You want to die?
Okay, so that democracy thing, not looking so great.
Children!
Front shield's at 50%.
Riker needs to show some bitches the back of his hand.
Ooh, can you back us off, Toby? Like, reverse.
Their forward shields are critical.
Are their shields the same modulation?
You got more power to your...
Yes, modulation E. Their forward shields
Front shield's at 30%.
Down.
You may want to turn us around.
Their front shields are down. Sensors maneuvering and warp disabled. Torpedoes disabled. They're destroyed.
Good.
Did you hit the... Shields are coming down.
Bruh!
Requesting
You hit
the space station? So, if the enemy dies and doesn't have a heat signature to lock onto, it goes for whatever's closest.
Ready.
Wow.
What the hell is going on?
Success?
Success, Zane.
Really? Because I heard you hit the space station 4 times.
But you did.
It was actually twice.
In which manual?
And yet we're still succeeding.
Their shields are still at 746. They're doing okay.
Sir, we're receiving communication on the scolding frequency. It's the Admiral.
Yes, we're shooting the goddamn space station. If you missed our 24-hour, 22.5-hour, call it 24-hour, stream for charity we did last year, we did some Artemis Space Simulator on there, a Space Bridge Simulator, and it was pretty fun.
Which, just to interject, I finally gotten around to editing those videos. And there's going to be a teaser trailer up on our YouTube page because B, we are doing the 24-hour Extra Life 24-hour campaign again this year, November 5th. But I'll plug all that later on. I just had to remember to at least say it now.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, I'm super hyped about that. Now suddenly caring about VR. Actually, there was a fair amount of VR at E3 in general that did start catching my eye. Like I've said many times before, I love the idea of what VR could be someday, but right now it still feels like a gimmick, and there isn't any good games, and it seems like they're changing that. Now, mind you, it's basically their console just as a peripheral for your PC or your console, because they are damned
Expensive?
I think he's dead.
Oh no.
Did we drop him again?
I have to move the box. No, he's still with us. I don't know if I can re-add him.
a couple steps closer to being what? What? You guys still hear me?
Sad.
No,
Oh.
now we can hear you.
Yeah.
You got stuck in time there for a second.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. So yes, actually kind of caring about VR now, and so that's first one that comes to mind. Really, that's like the first thing that comes to mind when I think about what I'm hyped about from there. But next up, once again, about Horizon Zero Dawn, because I love me some open world adventure games. It's like a cross between like Skyrim and Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And it is still just PS4 exclusive. Like, want them to make a PC port because I'm so hyped for that game, but it is not enough to get me to buy a PS4. That's mostly all I care about on the PS4. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of VR, the one thing I did want to throw in was the thing I'm excited about is Resident Evil 7. Did you guys?
Yeah.
looks super cool.
It
I
does.
like that they're trying to go back to the roots a little bit with it.
Yes. I'm after that slow fall. Like 4 was definitely like the pinnacle when they reimagined the game, and it just 5 was like, oh, and then 6 just crashed and burned and exploded in. I don't just.
Well, they were like, okay, what's the problem that we're having with Resident Evil now? Like clunky controls. Okay, well, Resident Evil 4 addressed that problem, but in nature made it more actiony because a lot of the suspense was due to the clunky camera angles.
Right.
But they were able to work around that and make a nice, interesting game that was still a survival horror. It just had a better camera. And then it's like someone was like, wait a second, this one's fantastic, and it's slightly more actiony and less horror-y. I know, let's just make the series action shooter. And that was 5 and 6. And then clearly they alienated all the people that got it because it's a survival horror game.
Yeah, it's like they took all the ideas that worked for RE4 and ignored them in the subsequent series. Like, RE6 is absolutely nothing like RE4, except for, like, its third person. That's the only thing. But
That's 7.
7. Oh, we dropped Derek.
Welcome back to the top corner.
Let me try to invite him again. Oh God! Oh no! Oh crap! Oh.
Grab this.
Oh, there we
Can I-
go.
No?
Yo.
Best podcast.
Hey.
2016.
Yeah. God damn it.
Don't worry. The audience will love it, or I'll edit out it. I haven't decided. It'll probably stay in, given my history of editing things out. But you can tell from RE7 they leaned heavily off the success of PT. Like, and that's and the fact that horror games have changed recently. Now it's become more kind of a psychological horror or just the atmosphere, like oh my god, I'm blanking on the name, like Amnesia style of gameplay or Outlast, where it's kind of slow and plotting, and there may be like jump scares, but the overall atmosphere is what pulls you in. And I think
I think that's specifically because there was an oversaturation of jump scare games.
Right.
Like that's That's where all survival horror was drawn from. Was okay, we're gonna build tension by have you walking around empty corridors for a while, and then you'll hear loud sound effects or maybe something will flash on the screen, and then you have to fight a monster.
Yeah.
But now, I think. Oh, what was the name of that game for the GameCube that was really psychological?
Oh,
fuck with your game.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I know what
Eternal Darkness.
Yes, that's what it is.
I think it took a while, but I think the Eternal Darkness style of it, and maybe even like, I know it's not exactly a well-received game, but the like Call of Cthulhu,
Mm-hmm.
that style of horror, because the mechanics in that game was terrible, but how they did a lot of the horror elements was
Right,
amazing.
right.
It just took a while for that to catch on and move into the more mainstream. I think we're starting to see a lot more of that because it is a successful way to go about horror, and unlike jump scares, it's not something that you can like condition yourself to as easily.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just like go, oh man, loud noises, and talk your way through it. But when you've got like a creepy asylum full of people that are like barely holding themselves together, and you have to constantly walk past people in wheelchairs grabbing at you, it sets a nice mood for shitting your pants.
On the note of the the psychological just creepy factor, going 100% in that direction, We Happy Few looks
Yes,
crazy
yes.
and amazing.
I've got
and
that on my list
just
also.
so creepy and awesome.
I don't usually play like scary games. Tends to not be my thing. But that's got like a BioShock feeling for me.
Oh,
like
yeah.
dystopian society. I want to give that a dive.
In my notes, I put it's BioShock meets 1984. Like it.
Yeah.
It's totally that nice combination of the two, and I love the art style. The art style is really, really good.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it works so well with the theme.
Right,
where it's just so
right.
creepily pleasant.
So yeah, that's a game. It's funny because I actually saw that game many years ago. I saw a YouTuber, I think Markiplier or Jacksepticeye, one of the two, had played it, and it was like in the hella early beta. And from what I saw then, it interested me. But I think over the years, they've really worked on that art style and kind of made it their own. And when I saw it again, I was like, oh yes, that game. And that game looks good. You've been working out, haven't you? Yeah, I'm excited for that game.
Definitely.
I am excited for Detroit Becomes Human. Did you guys see the trailer for this?
No.
Yeah, that looks like it could be pretty cool. Didn't make my list, but I was definitely intrigued by it.
It was hovered between like I'm curious and like I'm excited for it, and I decided that I'm excited for it just because that one trailer showed so many options that you have in the game and so many endings to that particular scene.
Right.
And I'm really because it can go one of two ways. Okay. It could go either there are a lot of endings to this scene and that has no bearing on the next scene, which would suck. That'd be a terrible thing to do. Or all these openings come up and all these endings go to affect the next scene in somehow, something significant. Not like a cup is here from here or this guy's wearing a different shirt. Nothing like stupid like that. Like significant changes to the next scene and beyond. Yeah,
and to clarify for those of you who haven't seen the trailer or the gameplay from E3, first go check it out. It's awesome.
It's really good.
What it is, it's like it's a very, very story driven, kind of like choose your own adventure style game. You play as an android negotiator in a world in a world where androids are very, very common. Kind of what the hell was the name of that movie with the kid from
Minority
The
Report?
Sixth Sense?
No, AI.
No, AI. Yeah, it's very, very much like AI, where there's that kind of androids are super common, but they're also not quite trusted, a little bit weird. There's some lack of rights and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the world you're in, and you're playing this android negotiator. And in the trailer, they showed him trying to talk down an android butler who had gone nuts, shot a bunch of people to death, and had a little girl with him standing on the edge of the roof of a building, and you had to try and talk him down. And they showed, like Mo said, like 8 or 10 different results of different choices at different times. It looks pretty great.
Yeah, and the way they frame it is, you walk in and you can look at evidence, and everything that you look at can either open or close dialogue choices when you get to the actual other android and you have to talk to him. And so it's definitely a game where you're going to be playing that same mission over and over and over again to try to get all the endings and see what happens. Like, one of the ending was like, the android decides to jump and you go to reach for the girl and you're too late and they both fall. There's one where you're too early and you push him and the little girl off. You go tumbling down. There's one where you lie to him and you save the girl, but there are implications that happen with him that could be forecasted that happen in the next scene if it ever gets to that point. There are some where you shoot him and that's it, and that's the scene. There are some where you push him off, where you and him go off and you save the girl. There's a ton of endings. Like I said, it'll be very, very good if the endings have direct implications to the next scene, and that's what I'm hoping happens.
Yeah, because that was like a lot of the problems with Mass Effect. You had at least 2 different ways something could go, the Paragon or Renegade, but for a lot of those decisions it didn't matter.
Yeah.
You could do Paragon and you get little Paragon points. You could do Renegade, you get little Renegade points, but ultimately it didn't affect the storyline afterwards. There was plenty of things that did in Mass Effect, don't get me wrong, but, you know, it's just, does this even matter in the end?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that is definitely on my radar.
Alright, freebie! Zelda!
Yes, Zelda.
Yeah, it's on my list too.
Yes.
It's gotta be. I'm pretty hyped. I feel like I may have been overhyped, and I was mainly I was just expecting to see more. Like, it was like, oh, an hour of gameplay, awesome, but it's just them like sitting there just playing the game for an hour. Like, they didn't like set up a demo. They're just sort of running around doing stuff. I was waiting for like a big climactic boss fight or something. It's just like, and that's, we played for an hour. Anything else? No, that's about it. Okay. I was like, all right, well, it's probably still gonna be badass, but you're letting the hype cool, Nintendo.
Yeah, my favorite thing is that the game seems like they're going way back to the original Legend of Zelda, where it's just like, here's a world, go, do your thing. Like, there's no guidance. One thing I did notice is that there are very, very few people in the world. There are very few NPCs. There are very few cities, at least from what they showed. And so
they showed a really limited section of the world, though. I'm sure there are cities.
They said they only showed 1% of the map, and I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to check it before I say it, but I'm fairly certain they said it's like 5 times the size of the Twilight Princess map.
9.
No, it was like 9 times.
9 times.
9 times.
Yeah.
Okay. Regardless, as long as they populate that space with interesting things to explore, that like makes my exploration boner like I get to do so much stuff. I get a hang glider and I get to fly around and do that sounds like fun. Sign me up.
Yeah. And that game looks so pretty. That art direction they're taking. It's like they went too far in one direction with Realist in a Twilight Princess. Some may say they went too far in the other direction with a Wind Waker. This seems like a nice compromise between the two art styles.
Oh yeah, I love the look of it.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's basically a cross between, Legend of Zelda and Skyrim, which I think is perfectly fine. I am very happy with that.
Yeah. I just hope that it's not Nintendo taking ideas from other open worlds and not innovating on those ideas. Like, anyone can make an open world. Anyone could just make an open world and copy GTA or Skyrim. That's par for the course. I hope they do something better with those ideas.
Yeah, I would agree. I hope it isn't literally just Skyrim with a texture pack.
Yeah, exactly.
It could just be that. But if it's Skyrim that looks like Zelda and has like Zelda-style dungeons and boss fights in the world, I think that'd be good enough to be really good. They could definitely do more to make it amazing, but that would get my money, and I'd be happy spending it.
Exactly. Um, what about Sea of Thieves? Where do you guys sit on that?
I only saw a little bit of video of it. It looks all right. I mean, if I had it, I'd sit down, I'd play it for a while.
Mhm.
I could see myself enjoying it, but honestly, it's not really sitting on my radar anywhere. I'm not like excited for it.
I'm curious about that game. Now that I know it's like about pirates and it's kind of Destiny meets pirates. Like, I'm like, okay. That they showed, I think in the trailer they got like 4 people or 8 people, 4 on each team, and they showed them like,
well, they had 3 crews of 4 each.
There we go. And they all just put them in a game and said figure it out. And so it's pretty amusing. But the ship battle mechanic is pretty cool and I like it. But the problem is there more to the game than that? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, then I'll pass. But if there's like treasure hunts or finding other islands or other piratey things, then you got me. But I'm still unsure about that game.
Yeah, I was gonna say like assuming there's some good like island exploration and treasure hunting and stuff to do, to have a reason to go out in the world and run into players other than just to find players and shoot them, it could be pretty great. Frankly, it could be like Star Trek Bridge Crew, but on a pirate ship, which I think would be amazing if that's what it is. And it seems like it's kind of like that because you have to have someone, people climbing the rigging, someone steering, people on the lookout, and you all like communicate with each other and work together to do stuff. It's pretty sweet. It could be if it ends up being like that. I'd love to go out and have pirate adventures with some friends.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I would say in its defense, I played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and the small parts that you use to pirate, I had fun with that.
Yeah.
I imagine doing it with other people, against other people, would be much more fun. But we'll just have to see.
Okay, can we pause for a moment and talk about Dead Stranding?
Sure.
Dead Stranding. Did you see the trailer for it? Or I guess the short movie or whatever that was?
Is it the Kojima one?
Yes.
Kojima's game. Yeah, I was gonna say I can't explain it to you. You're gonna have to just watch it.
No.
As far as we talk about it, maybe I can say words.
It suffers the same problem that I have with a lot of these kind of events, where we now know a concept, but we have no idea about the gameplay. Like, what can you tell me about the game?
Which as
it's Kojima. He likes to make movies where you hold a controller while you watch.
And I think Sony kind of had to do this because they got Kojima, what was that, last year, I think, just after he left Konami. And so, he's they know he's been looking for an engine for his game. So that game is nowhere close to even being started. I mean, so I think Sony just had to put something out, which they did. A teaser. Yeah, but it's a teaser of like, I don't understand what I'm watching. Like, I don't get it.
Certainly looks like it's going to be intense, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Anyway. I have no idea what kind of gameplay is going to be layered over it. I don't know how much the gameplay will matter, or if it's going to be another Kojima movie with a controller, which plenty of people seem to be happy with. So,
Did you see his entrance on the stage? Did you catch that part?
Yeah, that was badass.
That was freaking Michael Jackson intro. I was like, if I guess he's allowed to be that spectacular. Like, I don't know. I never really played the Metal Gear series, so I'm kind of.
I sort of fell out of it. I enjoyed the hell out of 2. That was the first one I played. Went back and played a bunch of 1, played a bunch of 3. Liked 2 and 3 a lot. 1 was solid, but I was going back in time and playing it, so it was a little dated.
Yeah.
So I can imagine 4 because it seemed to get really friggin' weird, and 5 seemed to confirm that they're just on the weird train, going as fast as possible.
Yeah, and people love it. I mean, I don't understand. But, I mean, I'm not part of the hype train, so I'm just like, okay, Kojima, with your smooth criminal entrance, whatever, and your weird-ass... I don't know. Like, that entire thing was just weird. Like, not weird, awkward, just like, I don't understand what's going on right now for the next 30 seconds.
It was a thing. Like, I don't know what to tell you about it. I definitely couldn't explain it to you. It would be like... if I try to just, if you haven't watched the movie, or watched the trailer, same thing. I'm not gonna try and give you the short version like I did with like Detroit Becomes Human, because it's gonna be like someone explaining a dream to you where it doesn't make any sense. It's not near. It's always weird and lame when you try and explain your dream to someone else, regardless of how awesome it was for you. That's what it was. It was a
Right.
weird ass dream you had, and you're gonna sit there and be like, there was a bunch of dead crabs, and there was these like black handprints in the sand, but they disappeared. And I saw some floating people, but I don't know if they were actually there.
And then he had a baby that was connected to an umbilical cord to him, and then the baby crawled away and then became invisible, and he was naked and his ass was good. I mean, I liked it. And then he was just staring up at 5 people on a. They were dead whales, and yeah, I mean.
Yeah, this is 100% what was in the
Yes,
video. So
everything that we just said was in the video.
Yes. Like, if you're confused, go watch it, see how gorgeous it is, and continue being confused.
Yeah, but what kind of game is it, guys?
Not a game. It's a little.
I know. It drives me crazy. It's like watching a commercial where it's like 90% hits, and then they're just like, check out this website. And like, I don't know what I just saw. Why would I check out your website? I don't know what. Are you selling, like, is it hookers? Is it panties? It could be a lingerie store. I don't know. Maybe it's condoms. I just know that it was sex. That's all I got.
This was basically just Sony going, we've got Kojima, lol, 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 lol.
Yeah. So on the slight side tangent, on the trailers and gameplay and stuff, I'll give it props to everyone, unlike last year, for actually showing gameplay this year. Like, they showed the games running. I was happy. I don't need minutes of a gameplay demo. I need, like, a minute or 30 seconds. Like, I can watch the game for 30 seconds and understand, oh, here's the game mechanic, here's the art style, got it. Some of those demos, like Final Fantasy 15, that was a terrible demo for that game. I had no idea what was going on. Like the Kojima thing, like, I didn't know what was going on, but it looked good. This looked bad, and I still didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I want to jump into Final Fantasy 15 because on my, as you said, we were tasked with picking 3 goods, 3 bads, and 3 curiouses. Final Fantasy 15 got on my bad list.
Yeah.
Not a big Final Fantasy fan in general. Haven't been for a long time. Played some back in high school. Got tired of JRPGs, so whatever. But this one is, I feel like it's the game that's supposed to bring me back. They're not doing turn-based. It's supposed to be action and fast-paced. They talk up how smooth and fluid the combat is. But first, like you said, the gameplay and the demo, and there are actually 2 different ones. They demoed the Final Fantasy 15 VR experience later on, and it was kind of the same.
That was
thing.
even worse.
It was pretty bad. Like, I feel like it might have just been the people demoing it just weren't good, but that said, like, because in the VR experience they're playing a character who uses a pistol, and you have to go like first-person shooter mode, and I feel like, and you can rage all you want, all you people out there who like JRPGs, but I feel like they just got some people, at least someone who really loves Final Fantasy games to play the first-person shooter character, and they just friggin' suck at first-person shooters because they'd unload and miss like 9 shots and shoot their buddy with the 10th, and I'm like, this is your E3 trailer.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
And they had some come up on the Final Fantasy 15, just the regular game. And he was fighting, I think he was fighting Titan, if I'm not mistaken. And it was his party against Titan and like other militia people for some reason. And Titan was doing all these area effect moves. The guy couldn't hit the boss. The militia guys kept getting in the way and shooting him down from his target. Like, what it looked like he was supposed to do was he was supposed to grapple onto the arm and hit its weak point for massive damage. But he couldn't do that because he kept getting interrupted.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, I want to give them some credit. It looks like they're going with a somewhat minimalistic HUD, which definitely made it hard to sort of tell what was going on in the game if you're not used to what the mechanics are. But then again, these things are supposed to be at least somewhat intuitive for people who've been playing video games for the majority of their life.
Right.
And it really wasn't.
No,
Yeah, it looked. They talked up like we have a Final Fantasy game that only has fast-paced action, fluid combats, for the first time ever. And then I watched it and I'm like, that's clunky and sort of slow. And there's a lot of like quick time events and like interactive cutscenes.
And I have no idea what's going on. Like, I can't decipher who's attacking what, who's on my team, who's not on my team, what my teammates are doing, what am I doing, what are they doing, why is this exploding? I don't know. It's action.
Yeah, like it was really like, and I've said this before. I'm not a fan of the QuickTime events and interactive cutscenes as a crutch. Like it was a novel way to replace cutscenes back in the day, but you can get rid of all of it altogether. Just let me do things. I don't want to hit the button and watch my character do 30 seconds of backflips and combo attacks. Like that's not why I'm playing a video game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me do the badass parts.
Yeah. That was a bad demo. And then also, what was?
If we're gonna talk about bad stuff, can I throw out my one big thing I'm totally disappointed in?
Yeah.
Dead Rising 4. Do we really need another Dead Rising? Is the concept not completely played out by now?
Well, the concept is being gratuitous. So I feel like making too many games is totally right in the theme.
That is true.
It seems like I don't know how they could possibly innovate on it. I didn't think there'd be anything after 2. Like, if you would have asked me if there was a Dead Rising 3 that was going to come out, I'd be like, no, I'm pretty sure 2 was, the most they could do, because the biggest limitation was the hardware, and now they can have as many as they want. I don't think, without, overcrowding an area, and I know that's saying a lot for Dead Rising, but you can only have so much of a dense population, and I think the hardware now is good enough that we don't really have to worry about that. So 3 did a good job. Where are we going to go with 4? Where's 4 going to take Dead Rising that it hasn't already been that is better?
To the I was going to say, up to that last part, according to the trailer, where it's going to take us is power armor and a giant car that sucks up zombies and fires them at zombies, and more just gratuitous, ridiculous crap. That's apparently where we're going with it.
Yeah.
If they, what's another game where they just have seasons, or they just add on DLC or something like that? If they take this,
every sports ball game.
Okay, let's just take that model and put it to Dead Rising, where you just have a big open city, tons of zombies, and then they just patch it on a regular basis, update it, throw in more things. I think that'd be better than just coming out with new installations.
Oh, wait. That game did come out, or it got previewed. It's called State of Decay 2.
Okay.
What's that? Which one?
Yeah. I don't remember State of Decay 1. So.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. It was supposed to be like a big open world MMO zombie kind of thing, which people liked. It was like, so people played Assassin's Creed 1 and they were like, this is a good concept, and then Assassin's Creed 2 was like, oh my god, best game ever. That's how State of Decay was kind of taken. It was like, you have some good concepts, what are you gonna do? And it took 10 years for State of Decay 2 to come out. And apparently that's the idea, but I'll get to this later on, but it's 10 years too late. It's why? The zombie motif has already been played out. I am so sick and tired of zombies. I get it. I'm over it. Next, please.
Unless you get to play as the zombies, because that doesn't happen enough. There are plenty of games where you get to do it, but I don't think that is an oversaturated market.
True.
Being able to play as the zombies would be a nice direction for people to take this whole zombie shit to go. But go ahead.
Right. Which, if I can, on the same topic, did you guys see the trailer for Days Gone?
Days Gone. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Probably.
Did see that.
It
was the biker dude with shooting lots and lots and lots and lots of zombies.
It was basically fluidic zombies. If zombies had a liquid property, that is what the zombies are in Days Gone.
Yeah. I was gonna have a rant about this. I was watching that trailer, and the stream of zombies. Like, it is a herd of zombies sprinting at him. There are hundreds of them just pouring out at him. Like Mo said, it's just like a flood of zombies. And he starts running. I was like, oh shit, you better get out of there. He's got to have an exit here pretty soon. He kind of like turns around and starts backpedaling and shooting at them. Like, what are you doing? There are more zombies there than you could possibly have bullets. And he proceeds to backpedal, firing this machine gun, and occasionally jump over a thing or blow up a barrel for like 5. It's like 13 times. Dude is carrying like 4,000 rounds of ammo, and he shoots all these zombies, like every single one of them. Like this one dude by himself just backpedals and saying "oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit" the whole time, like he knows he's about to die, and kills like 300 or 400 zombies in the course of 5 minutes. All right, that's suddenly a lot less scary. Like you shouldn't have been able to do that. And the trailer ends where it's like, oh no. He's here, and there's still like 100 zombies there. I'm like, bitch just killed like 4 times that many. He just jumped down and started. I don't know why he's scared.
It's like a serious version of Dead Rising, and it follows the same thing. Like, I don't care. I'm done. Like, don't get me wrong.
The zombies are not at all dangerous.
Right. The tech, the graphics, and the way the zombies move looks really good. Don't get me wrong. That is very impressive. The animations. How they animate this horde of zombies, like piling over one another, over boards and trying to squeeze through windows, and all that's really, really beautiful looking. It's just that I don't care. You're 10 years too late. That was called Dead Rising. That was called, what was the game on Steam? Oh my god. The co-op game that I'm going to be chastised for forgetting now. Anyway, it's been done already. You're 10 years too late. I mean, you're the last one. Dead? There we go. That's the game I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
But you're too late. I stopped caring, and it sounds like a lot of people were just like.
Apparently, some people still care because there were a lot of zombies this year.
yeah. But yeah, that goes on my bottom of the list too.
One that I wanted to rant about a little bit, not really necessarily for the gameplay, though the gameplay seemed pretty stale, and I don't know. I'll get on that in a second, but Watch Dogs 2.
I
want to start by saying the gameplay could be like the most amazing, like orgasmic thing ever, and I'd probably still be incapable of playing it because it is every stupid hacker trope from movies ever. Like, just pretty much every single thing you do, I'm just like, that is so stupid. It's not even vaguely close to how anything realistic works. And there's no reason to do what you just did. And it's like they're doing the demo, and the guy's talking over it, while they're showing it. And they're like, one thing we added in this game is everything is hackable. I'm like, oh, really? Like everything? And then he like turns around and he hacks a car. Like he just sort of like you just used to like look at something and like a little like a graphical like line popped out to the thing you're hacking from his cell phone. He takes his cell phone and like there's a card on like a Ferrari on the side of the street. He like types into it and starts like remote controlling this Ferrari around in circles and runs it into a tree. And I'm like, that's not, okay, fine. I'm just gonna roll with it. Whatever. You get your one, and he proceeds to do that over and over again. He starts walking down the street, like making everyone's cell phones ring. And at one point, he's breaking into a building, and he's on a crane, like box lift thing. And there's a set of controls for the crane, like 3 feet to his left. And he pulls out his cell phone and hacks the control to make the crane go to the right. And I'm like, A, why didn't you just push the damn button? Yeah. B, why is there an internet link up for the crane? Like, why is the crane on Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of world you live in.
Yeah.
It was absurd. Like, all the doors in the bad guy's place are apparently connected to the internet for some reason when they know they're under attack by hackers. Probably not the best idea.
Now, this can go one of two ways. Either they take themselves seriously, or they understand how ridiculous that is and they run with it. And, stop it. Do you guys remember Starship Troopers?
Yes.
Yeah.
That walked the line of understanding how ridiculous that concept was, but playing it somewhat straight-faced, and it worked. And I'm hoping that at least try that with Watch Dogs 2, because everything is there. You said everything's hackable. This is a ridiculous premise. Like Saints Row, they went way overboard, but they knew that they were going way overboard and they ran with it. I just hope they don't take themselves too seriously this time. And even if they do, if they try to say like a political statement or something, it's just going to be drowned out by the ridiculousness of said thing in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, they might go that way, but I really didn't get that vibe from the demo.
Yeah.
You could tell, like, they thought they were cool. Here's another thing. This is
Wasn't
like,
that the problem with the first one? Where they were like, look at all this amazing stuff, you can hack everything, and then it ended up being a rush development, and there was a lot of problems with, like, the world that they built, and how things interacted, and they said, like, you were supposed to have multiple ways of doing things, kind of like Hitman does, but then that turned out only to be the first couple levels, then it got really linear after that. Like, if they don't fuck it up this time and they actually deliver on the promises of the first game, it'd be like, yeah, you know, you're a couple years late to the party, but, you know, better late than ever. That'd be fine, but I don't know, I feel like they've kind of let people down too much with the first one to really push for a second one.
Yeah.
I want to throw out one thing, like, just kind of overall stuff, like feel from this year, E3. A lot of games had main characters who just annoyed the ever-living shit out of me, because they thought they were just so friggin' cool, and they just, like, they get the shovel response from me so hard. Which, if those you don't know, the shovel response is where you really, really dislike someone, and you don't enjoy disliking them. You just hate them being there. You wish that character didn't exist, or that they would just be mute or something. Because there were so many games, like Final Fantasy 15 had this bad. They were just like the most tropey, stereotypical, like, thinks they're badass when they're actually just a total douchey tool.
Yeah.
And it was a boy band of them. Like, every single one of them's literally walking around in black tight pants and a black jacket and sunglasses with, like, spiky, messed up hair, and just be like, yeah, let's go, dudes, all right! And I was like, Ghost Recon was the same way. Scalebound, that was ruining it for me, too.
Oh my god, that was a terrible trailer as well, or a terrible demo. It's like...
I was really let down by that. I heard Platinum, and I was like, ooh, oh.
Yeah, and it was like some mix. It was like, oh, this is Dark Souls with what's going on? Like, you're fighting this giant enemy crab. It was literally a giant enemy crab. I was like,
it was.
Did you not learn from a couple of years ago? And it was bad. Like
whenever I feel like there's a lot of game companies that kind of get typecasted. Like, clearly Bethesda has its niche audience. Clearly Insomniac does its own things. We've got 343. They're just kind of doing the Halo thing now. Like, there's certain studios that seem to stick with a certain genre, and we expect Platinum to do the over-the-top. What would you call that?
Just hack and slash, beat 'em, like hack and slash, shoot 'em up, beat 'em up.
Video game-ass video games.
Yes. So when they went to Dark Souls-ish kind of area, you wouldn't exactly expect it. It's at least still in that same realm. It's in that, like, this game's gonna kick your ass thing, so I'm sure Platinum can do that easy. But, like, it's kind of worrying. It would be similar to any of these other established studios that have the thing that they're popular for, and they go do something else. It's not like we're saying they can't do it or they shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
It just makes us iffy. And then on top of that, you didn't really sell it well either.
Yeah.
So
and I think the issue is the game looks bland. Like,
that's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I need to jump in here because I'm sorry, but, like, the premise seems like it should be the most amazing badass thing. Like, I should still have a boner I can't get rid of after watching that trailer based on that premise, because you have Platinum Games making a game where you get to be, a badass person with, with like a bow and a sword who can transform into like a half dragon, mutant guy with superpowers who can jump around fighting giant enemies with your pet dragon. Like, that should, in co-op, that should be the best thing ever. That should just have me drooling on myself uncontrollably. And I was watching it and I was like, you are really really letting me down here.
Yeah.
I this I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this may be an unpopular opinion, but the gameplay of Recore, I didn't like it.
It
No.
No.
We didn't get a ton of gameplay. There was like it was a bunch of like quick clips, which didn't really get me a very good feel, but it looked like a lot of.
It looked like
I don't know.
it looked like a bad third-person shooter. It
Kinda,
looks-
yeah. Like I was getting a lot of third-person shooter in that, and I
yeah,
really didn't want that.
It reminds me if Borderlands meets third person is what it kind of reminded me of. And I love Borderlands, but the one thing that killed me was that they didn't show the Recore mechanic in the game at all, and they didn't talk about it at all. And your game is
Yeah.
called Recore.
Exactly.
It is the name of the mechanic. You better tell me what that mechanic is, like, because that's like pitching EverQuest, but not showing any quests in the game. You're missing the entire point of the pitch.
Yes, yeah, and like especially because last year was pretty much just like a teaser, like video trailer. It didn't have any gameplay last year, and I was like, that could be sweet, but I need to see some actual game. So we'll see next year. And then this year they're like, just not really giving me much, and what they
Yeah.
did give me is pretty bland. I'm starting to lose that hype.
Yeah. Yep.
One that I am curious about, very positively curious, and a kind of a fringe, smaller title, Fee, looks like it could be pretty awesome.
I didn't catch that one.
So it's got a gorgeous art style. Look up some images for it, or and anyone who hasn't seen it, go check out the trailer they had for it. It looks pretty cool. You play. It's a very, very stylized art style. Looks pretty sweet. Kind of reminds me of Ori and the Blind Forest, except it's 3D and more cell shaded. But you're this little like just kind of weird animal cub on this very like alien planet with all these different kinds of animals, and all the plants and animals and things have like their own song. The game has no dialogue in it at all, text or spoken, because you're just an animal and you're interacting with other animals. But you just explore this big open world. You try and like learn to communicate with different parts of nature, and when you learn like the song for this thing, it'll give you some sort of benefit. Like there's these basically like flying manta ray type things, and when you learn their song, you can call it and then ride around on one and fly around. And now you gain the ability to fly when you're near one of those.
Huh.
Now that you've learned that song, and the bad guys are these creatures that walk around silencing everything. Like they'll like put the enemy animals and creatures and stuff in the kind of like this stasis where they can't interact with the outside world. They cut them off. And then these weird like walking kind of like vaguely humanoid black creatures with like a big single glowing eye,
Okay.
and kind of work with. It's one of the ones where you can't really fight much of anything yourself because you're this tiny little like little critter, but you use the environment and the other creatures to deal with things. Some cool exploration and kind of puzzle platforming type stuff. Looks like it could be pretty great. Definitely like the art style and the concept a lot. So
I have to check it out. Okay, so we are running a bit long. There were two things, one good and one bad, that I wanted to get off my chest really quick.
sure.
The bad. Stop showing the crowd when you're playing a gameplay trailer. That is
Yeah.
the dumbest
Yeah.
thing I've, like, I think it was not God of War, it was another trailer that looked really, really good, and it sounded really, really cool, and I really wanted to watch it, but the camera's panning out to the crowd. Look at all these people watching this trailer, and you can only hear. Show me the goddamn trailer. That is stupid. Why do you keep doing that?
Especially when the crowd is just a bunch of people like just sitting there watching. Like they weren't even
Thank
like
you.
freaking out or anything. You
There's-
didn't even need like a crowd reaction. They were just sitting there.
There's no need to show the crowd at all, period. Except if it's like Final Fantasy VII Remake and grown men are crying, or it's like Shenmue Remake and the same grown men are still crying. Okay, then yeah, show me that.
Yes, because that's also more interesting than the trailer anyway.
But I was so aggravated by that.
Yeah, it was pretty annoying.
Secondly, the really thing that I was really surprised that I'd be excited about is God of War, the new one. I've never been a God of War fan, but that trailer, hey, that game is fucking beautiful. It looks
it's gorgeous.
so good.
It's really gorgeous.
The gameplay looks less like you're an angry man wielding wild swords and cutting bitches in half. It looks more deliberate. Like the combat's more deliberate. You can kind of feel every punch, every throw, every impact has more oomph to it.
Like visceral's a word you around a lot, but I think it applies here.
And did you catch the trailer at all? I'm assuming you did.
Yeah.
I watched it. The last 5 seconds is some of the best non-verbal storytelling that I've seen in a very long time in video games. And it's
a big surprise to come from friggin' God of War
Thank
2.
you! That is why I'm so surprised. Like, it came like the art style and the art direction, everything about that trailer came way out of left field. It's like, this is God of War. Are you sure?
Yeah, like, this is the same Kratos who was in a hot tub with topless chicks like 2 games ago.
Exactly.
Not to mention the world building, like the aspect of them going into Norse mythology and those environments looking like it fits that genre perfectly. Right. Like it looks like it's going to be a well built game, and I'm pretty excited for it. And that's coming from someone who's never given a shit about God of War.
Same here. Here.
I'm the third one to reiterate that. Like I'm very surprised to be very excited about it. Let's see. I'm going to skim down my list here and see things that I haven't touched on that I wanted to get out. I have 2 more on the curious that we haven't touched on. One is Quake Champions.
I'm
only curious because and definitely only curious because all we've seen is just a video. There was no gameplay shown. But if that was a good video teaser trailer and it was showing us all the stuff they intend to do and they execute on that stuff, could be badass because they seem to have like a set of like kind of class character, kind of sort of MOBA style where different characters with different special abilities running around. The chick who teleports a lot and dude with a buzzsaw hand and shit like that could be pretty sweet. But again, 0 gameplay, so I'm saying that I'll watch it when you have gameplay and then make a decision.
My thing on that is I'm not so hot on it. If it is a hero shooter, i.e. Overwatch or Battleborn, don't care. You're late to the party. Like, I don't care at that point. Which, that seems to be the theme now. It's like people being late to the party. It's like, no, that was already been done and better.
Well, it's like they saw last E3, they're like, yeah, those sound like pretty cool ideas, I think we could do it. And now that those games are released, they're in their, like, second phase of development. We're all kind of over it now.
Right. Or if it's more deathmatchy, like how they did with Doom. Doom went right back to the roots, minus the deathmatch, because that's a little wonky. But if it is like Quake deathmatch, maybe with some hero things in there, then okay, then now you've got me. But
that's what I'm hoping for and really expecting, because it'd be weird for them to leave that behind, because it's Quake. You're like, they're all like, we're coming back to Quake. Quake has returned, So I'm hoping it's just Quake, and you've got special powers too. Besides just everyone's the same and looks slightly different. Because that'd be cool. Like that's a logical step forward. I don't really want a MOBA roster of characters. I don't actually want that. Just make it an extra thing thrown in. Other one that I put in my curious column, like mostly because I like the look of it a lot, and I'm excited for it, even though I probably won't play it at all, and that's Steep.
I didn't catch this one.
Okay, so Steep is it's an extreme sports game. It's about mountain-related extreme sports. That's really like the linking theme.
Oh no, wait! I did see this one. I just didn't know what the name of it was. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, short version, you've got like a great big mountain or like series of mountains, and you can pick a spot to start on, and you can pick either like having like a snowboard or skis or like a wingsuit or like a paraglider, stuff like that, and then you go down the mountain, and it's not really like it's very unstructured, which I think is great. Like you literally just get in there and you go have fun like you would do on a mountain.
Right.
Like if you had a bunch of gear and like a helicopter to get you wherever you wanted to be, and you were immortal and wouldn't die doing all this crazy shit you could do, then this is what you do. You would do exactly what's in this game. You just go like, I'm gonna go down that cliff in a wingsuit because that sounds awesome. And on top of that, like the game has so much stuff built in to really like reward you for just going out and having some fun, because there's this cool
Right.
mechanic where you have your line where it traces your line down the mountain, however it was you went down skiing or wingsuiting or whatever,
Mhm.
which isn't that crazy, but it's got a really robust replay system where you can rewind to any particular spot. You can see stats for like every like half second down the mountain, like how fast you were going, your angle and tricks you performed and crap like that. You can take screenshots and post videos and stuff of cool tricks you've done to share with your friends and people on on Facebook and whatever, which is great. It's a great idea for them to get the community feel hyped about it. But you can also take stuff you've done, like if you do this awesome like double backflip off of a like off of a rock ramp between two trees or something, you can grab that clip of your replay and then post it as a challenge. You basically set rules for how to pull off the thing you pulled off, the clip of you doing it, and then basically send it to your friends and anyone else who cares about it as a quest that you basically made up.
Yeah.
It's like, do this thing and you'll be as awesome as I am, and that's just sweet.
It's really good.
On top of like really cool seamless like co-op multiplayer, you can just like jump into someone else's game where they're at on a mountain and start chasing them down while they're snowboarding and you're in a wingsuit or whatever, and just do whatever you want, just screw around and have fun. It just looked like a solid fun game. It's not overly complicated. There's just a cool concept and ran with it, and
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I forgot I even saw that game, but yeah, it looked really cool.
Yeah.
Probably be a fun game with the VR set.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have a GoPro view, because you can switch different camera modes, and one of them is the GoPro camera, where it looks like you're in it, looking out of a GoPro camera on the rider's helmets, and they go full into it. Like when you do a backflip, you're like looking at the sky, looking behind you, look at the ground, looking back in front of you, and like
Yeah.
actually trying to land the flip when you're looking where you would actually see is pretty hard, but pretty cool.
Cool. Did you have one last yay or nay or curious, Corey?
No, we've pretty much talked about everything.
Okay.
The only thing, I would have a story outside of E3 if you wanted to talk about it a little bit, but I know we're already over.
Yeah, and it's getting kind of late. My roommate's probably gonna head to bed here pretty soon because it's 11:30 here.
Yeah.
Let's hold it off for next episode if that's okay with you. Do you think it'll still be
Yeah.
relevant then?
We could just talk about the implications of it. I was going to talk about Mighty Number 9.
Oh yeah, I've got some words about that. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured as much.
Yeah,
We'll just
yeah.
save it for next time then.
okay. One thing I
Plus,
did.
that'll let us get some like sales numbers and things too. So we
Oh,
can talk about
that's true. That's
we
true.
can see how people receive it, because it's only really been reviewed and it's only been out for like 1 day now, so
Yeah.
we'll give it 2
Yeah.
weeks then.
Okay. I pitched this earlier, but we are doing Extra Life November 5th and 6th of this year. It's a Saturday, Sunday. 24 hours. It will be on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/The Secret Cow Level Podcast, is what I believe it is. We're going to have prizes. It's going to be a lot of people. I think both Derek and Corey are gonna try to come up here. Some friends from Phoenix are gonna make it, as well as some friends up here in Minneapolis as well. It's gonna be a ton of fun. It's gonna be in our new house. It's gonna be fantastic. This year we're gonna have prizes for amount donated. We haven't gone through that just yet. It's still about 6 months away, but when that gets done, we'll go ahead and let you guys know. But do set your calendars, November 5th and 6th, 24 hours Extra Life campaign. We'll get you more information as it comes out. That is all I had to plug. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to plug?
No.
Nothing for me.
Alright. Well then, I guess it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for listening and watching to episode 24 of The Secret Caliber Pop. You guys have a nice night.
Bye.
Bye, folks.